Welcome back to Edusphere Academy, Online Academy. Today we will be continuing the topic Indices and Standard Form. So here we were, and we had started the D-Series 4.1 exercise. We have completed some of the questions in the previous video, so today we will be continuing the video. So basically, when we talk about indices and standard form, there are some basic rules to follow. And I hope from the previous video, you must have continued practicing all those concepts that you have understood so far. And from now onwards, we will be continuing to exercise further, which will continue to the same rules along with some more rules of indices. So let me introduce the rules, which are some of the rules of indices to zero and negative indices. So at first, I have the rule number one. Whenever any number or any variable, if you have that number or variable, anything that has a power zero, it is actually equals to one, the number one. So it is not only for the variables, it is also applicable for the numbers. For example, if I write 2000 on top of it, if I put zero, it means the whole number is actually equals to. So any index, which is zero index, it makes the number or the variable or anything which is the power zero applied to it is actually equals to one. The other rule, which is the negative, it's about negative indices. And negative indices means that sometimes we have an index, like, for example, we have 2 power -3. So if I want to take the power, if I want to make the power positive, I should take the number to the opposite side of the fraction or taking the reciprocal. But there's nothing over here, like it's not a fraction, so I should myself put one because every single number or variable, whenever there's nothing in the denominators, it's actually one in the denominator. So when we say that it's 2 power -3 over 1, so if we take the reciprocal of 2 over 1, it would be 1 over 2, but the power will be positive now. So equals to sign comes inside, mistake, right? So the power will be +3. Now the power is positive. So it's all about that. Let's move on to the exercise. And that is exercise 4B from the book D3, 7th edition. And this is the exercise. Okay. So there's some basic questions are here. So let me zero them and let's discuss them. Let's move on to the first question, which says that if any power, like 17 power 0, is actually equals to 1, -2 powers, so -2 by 7 power 0 is also equals to 1. 4 into 8 times power 0, it means 4 remains 4 because there's no power in 4, but a power 0 is 1, so 4 times 1 is 4. Similarly, -8 times 1, because b power 0 is actually 1, so it's actually -8. Similarly, when we have so many things inside, in fact, it's the whole term, including variables, 72, c, d squared, everything, but they are all enclosed up in whole power 0. So it means that we are applying 0 power on 72, on c, on d squared, and then the final answer is also 1. Okay. Now let's move on to this question number 1, F part, where we have 7, and inside e power 8, and on outside of this bracket, it's power 0, it's index 0. So obviously, because this whole will become 1, so when we multiply 7 times 1, that is 7. I hope the power 0 is clear to all my students now. Let's move on to the next question, where we have this including in some expression, or when there are 2 different terms or 3 different terms, and when the power 0 is applied, how we are going to type. Like this 2 power 0 means 2 power 1. So it's the number 1. And in 2 times power 4, 2 power 4 is actually 1 multiplied by 2 power 4, which is actually equals to 2 power 4, which is actually equals to 16. Or if we go for the other way around, if you recap the previous exercise rules, when we talked about when there are 2 numbers, have the same basis, like there are this number and there is another number 2. Those two bases are same, and when they are multiplied, the powers are added. So according to that rule, if we are applying the rule number 1 on this question, it will give the same result as this rule gives you. So it will become 2 power 0 plus 4, which is actually 0 plus 4 is 4. So 2 power 4 is 16. So either way you can use to get the answer. If you apply this rule or if you apply that rule, it will be all set. Next, moving on to this question number 2b part, where we have two numbers have the power 2 and 0, and they are multiplied in this number 1, 7, which has the power, which is no power. So it means it has power 1. It is divided. So let me take you to the rules of indices where with the same bases are multiplied or divided, the powers are added or subtracted. So let's take it to that rule. And I'm going to write 7 power 2 plus 0 because they both 7s are multiplied, so the powers are added. So I'm writing 2 plus 0. And because this 7 is divided, so I'm writing minus 1. So finally, we will get 7 power 2 minus 1, which is 1. And that is equals to 7. Hope this is also clear, but making sense. And when they are having indices on top of the numbers, but inside of the, we have positive and negative sign, means if we have the addition or subtraction operation, it's the opposite. Like we will apply the power, 8 power 0 means 1 minus 8 squared times 8 squared is 64. So it's just a simple number and we will subtract it and we will get minus 63. Because plus minus is minus. We subtracted 64 minus 1 is 63. Having the bigger number sign is minus 63. But let's move on to the D part where we have 6 cubed. It will be 216 plus 6 power 0 is 1 minus 6. So applying this, it will become 217 minus 6, and it will be 200. Hope this is all clear. So let's move on to question number 3. Okay, now comes the turn of the negative power. This question number 3 has negative power questions. But of course, when these, when we are taking the reciprocal of these numbers, the power will be positive. But I would recommend you try to use these rules. When there is a question and you get the answer in the negative power, try to take this rule, try to apply the rule at the end of the question. Do not try to apply the rule in the middle of the question. Go on with the flow, use the extra different rules, but use this rule instead whenever you have a question and you have the last step, which has the power negative. So apply this rule over there. Otherwise, try not to use the rule because it will somehow or the other will make your answer incorrect. It's not like that, but it will make a little more complex for you to solve at your stage because since you're students, so you have a little, confusion related to different questions. So I would recommend you, this is my suggestion, so you can apply that. Okay, so this would be 1 over 7 cubed, hope it's clear. This will be 4 by 3 whole square. And of course, you can apply the rule. It will be 16 by 9. This will be 1 over minus 5 power positive 1, which is actually 1 over minus 5. And the last one is 3 by 5 power 1, which is actually 3 by 5. So hope all set. Moving on to the next question. Question number 4. Now this is, where did I tell you exactly in the previous question? Try not to use the rule of negative power to make it positive in this. Even if you do it that way, that would not be incorrect. Definitely be correct. So use your own, options. You have different options to solve the question, but I would recommend you to multiply this. Take the power of power rule. So it will be 2 2s are 4. So it will be 7 power minus 4 divided by 7 power minus 4. Now what happens that you will be writing 7 because the powers will be subtracted because of this division. When same bases are divided, the powers are subtracted. So I'm writing minus 4. This minus is because the powers are subtracted and this minus 4 is here. So I'm putting bracket to segregate these two different signs. So it will be 7 power minus 4 plus 4. This minus minus will be multiplied. So it's plus 4. So finally, it's 7 power 0, which is equals to 1. Okay, students, so let's move on to the next question, which is 5 power 0 minus 5 power minus 2. So applying the rules here, you can apply the rule directly here, the negative power, because there is a minus sign inside. We cannot apply any other rule, so we don't have any other option. We have to have applied the rule of 5 power negative 2 in this question. So we will write 5 power 0 as 1 minus 1 over 5 squared. Now at this stage, it will be 1 minus 1 over 25. So students, remember when we have one fraction or one number, or when we have two fractions, we have to finally take the LCM of the denominators, while taking the LCM, after taking the LCM, the denominators should be exactly the same. So I've taken the denominator as 25. So it will be 1 times 25 is 25. So we will multiply 25 here. So finally, we will get 25 ones at 25 minus 1, which is 24 by 25. Since it's the proper fraction, we cannot convert it into this number. Let's move on to the next question, which is 2 power 15 times 0, which is actually when we apply this power rule, so 15 zeros are 0, so it's 2 power 0 plus, I'm applying the rule because there's positive sign inside, so I cannot have, I cannot use any other rule over here. So I have to take the reciprocal and I will be applying the rule, so it will be 5 by 3 power 1. Now this becomes 1 and 1 plus 5 by 3. Same rule applies over here. Take the denominators LCM, so 1 3s are 3, multiply by 3, so it will be 3 plus 5, which is 8 by 3. You can convert this into mixed fraction by dividing 8 out of 3, so 3 2s are 6. Understood. So 2 whole, 2 by 3. So the answer is 2 whole, 2 by 3. Okay, the D part, the last part of this question. It has the negative part, but I told you when you have multiply or divide kind of things, you can take the power negative in the question, in the middle of the question, and the start of the question as it is. So it will be 3 by 4, but the point here is that since we do not have anything to, like I have to write 3 power minus 2, 4 power minus 2. Why I applied here? Because I can take 3 square and 3 square and I can multiply them. So it's 3 square into 1 because everything has power 0 is actually equals to 1. Now taking these two bases, if they are same, so I can add their power. So I will write minus 2 plus 2 over 4 power minus 2 times 1, which is 3 power 0 over 4 square times 1. The next step, I don't have a space here, so I'm writing it here. 3 power 0 is 1, so I'm writing it 1. Let me write it here, 1 times 4 square. Sorry, it was minus 2. So when it comes to the numerator, it is positive square times 1, which is 16. So the final answer is 16. So many ways you can do it that way also. Take the reciprocal directly, and it will be the other way. If we choose any other way, it will be 4 by 3 whole square times 3 square times 1. So it would be 4 square by 3 square times 3 square times 1. This would be cancelled with this, or maybe you can write 3, 2 minus 2 because same bases are divided. So the powers are subtracted in terms. It should actually equals to 1. So 4 square times 1 is 16. Hope it's clear. In the next video, we will be talking about the indices, having the different types of questions when we are going to evaluate using the powers, which are in the form of fraction. So stay tuned for my next video. Hope everything is clear from this exercise. Take care. Bye.